All right, we're back with more legal insight from our friends at Peterson Law Office.
They are really our friends.
Yes,
okay,
they are.
We call them all the time. Like, hey, brothers. Okay, so
Are you saying I'm in trouble all the time, or what are you saying?
absolutely. So Justin Peterson and Masten Childers, the third, joins us now. Gentlemen, we're on the other side of this large winter storm, and what legal topics are we covering today? Because let me tell you, as a traffic anchor yesterday, was not fun.
It was not. Was that not chaos?
It was absolute chaos. It actually felt like it was worse than when we had that 2-week hiatus.
It was unbelievable. And listen, when I see conditions like that, one of the first things I think about are commercial vehicles. So like when commercial vehicles and logistic companies team together to send off these big, massive trucks, right, carrying these big loads that can ultimately be very dangerous. They are required to know what the weather's going to look like. They're required to plan these routes. There are certain roads that they are not supposed to travel on. There are designated roads that they are allowed to. We've handled cases here in Fayette County, believe it or not, where those big semis have diverted off the roads that they're allowed to travel on onto roads they're not, and guess what happens? An accident occurs, or someone meets at the center line because those trucks are too big. So that's one of the things I think about, in addition to how in the world did that person just run off the road. You know, yesterday I saw like 10 of them on the way to the kids' school. But yeah, that's something we always look at. So when we're looking at a commercial vehicle case, we're looking at the logistics company. How did we plan this route? Why were we traveling this route? And was that an approved route?
So do they get some cover, though? And do they have redress if there is a weather agency, a government agency, that doesn't issue an alert or anything?
Well, you know, are you talking about when the weather agency knows about it but doesn't tell us about it? Or
well, again, that's the
right. But you know, I think when an unexpected event occurs, they have duties that they have to comply with, right? And stop. No, it's not divert and try and get around the weather incident, even though they might, because they're on a deadline. And that's what Justin's talking about, is we have to make sure that they are doing the absolute safest thing, so that way the people on the road with them are not impacted. So like when you had the event yesterday, they should have just stopped. It's time to stop.
So yesterday we were even dealing with situations where we had so many crashes at one point. The police officers were like, you know what?
Stop taking reports.
Stop taking for those minor reports, just exchange information. So hypothetically speaking, let's say some of those minor injuries turned into something major because you don't know.
So that actually happened. A friend of mine called me yesterday. Her son was in an accident at 8 o'clock yesterday morning.
Okay.
There were 4 other accidents around him. And what happened was the person that got in the accident with him, they exchanged information and went on about their day. Nobody was injured. It was just property damage. Well, about an hour later, he gets a phone call that from the individual he got in a wreck with, who had made a report, because after the police said, okay, we'll take reports again, that person called the police and said, I was in an accident. No. And so he made a report. So if that happens to you, know your rights. If you've been in a collision and you just exchange information because nobody's been injured, that's okay. It's okay to do that. But know that you can always call the police and say, listen, I was in this accident, I need a report. And they will come and take your report, and then they're supposed to go take the other side of the story as well. So when my friend called me, he was freaking out, thinking that he was going to go to prison or whatever. I said, no, listen, just take the number on the report that the other guy gave you, call, and make your side of the report. So the police are there to help. Even when they can't be there immediately, give them a call.
Yeah.
I had that happen to me down here in a parking lot.
See, that's why we got to give them a call.
The other people didn't have any success.
Yeah, or the better idea is to call us and we'll call the police.
Thank you.
That is a better idea.
All right, now, I don't have time today, but when you guys come back, I want you to do some research. And give me your thoughts on the Afro Man trial up in Cincinnati. Have you heard about this?
We'll do it. No,
oh, my gosh. I'll tell you during the break.
Oh, tell me during the break.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I can't wait to hear about it.
Great.